はい、じゃあ皆様ごきげんよう。JCU インサイトのお時間です。今日はですね、アメリカでもジャーナリスト、政治評論家としてもう今スーパースターのですね、ジャック・ポソベックさんをお招きして、JCU インサイトをお届けしたいと思います。はじめにジャックさんのですね、簡単紹介させていただきたいんですけれども、非常にいろんなキャリアをお持ちで、まずですね、中国にしばらく滞在されて、上海にありますアメリカの商工会議所で勤務をされておられました。ですから中国語も非常に堪能です。で、その後ですね、米軍の海軍ですね、に勤務されまして、グアンタナモの海軍基地にもおられた経験があります。海軍情報局にも所属しておられました。ですから、情報の調査、それからリサーチ、非常に得意な方でもございます。そして今はアメリカでももう大人気のいろんなテレビ番組ですとか、保守系の団体の司会者、解説者として大活躍されておられます。で、もう特にですね、ご自身のことを共和党の工作員というふうにも自称しておられまして、調査研究、それから活動家、さらには解説者というリアリティジャーナリストということをご自身で表現されておられます。それともう一つ、今年マーラーゴのトランプの新年会のパーティーで一緒だったんですけど、確か奥様も一緒におられて、日本のですね、ドラマ、ガリレオの大ファンだというふうに伺ってるんですけど、よかったでしたっけ、それで。
It's true. It's true. The best. But I have not seen the new movie yet. So I'm waiting for it to come Blu-ray, and then maybe later this month I'll be able to finally watch it. Yukawa sensei. He knows.
まあ今日もですね、ですからいろんな方インタビューされてて、ちょうどさっきはトランプジュニアのインタビューもされてたりしましたんで、まずはですね、アメリカでの一番ホットな話題からいろいろ伺いたいと思っております。もう一番近いところからいきますと、まず2024年の大統領選、これをまずちょっと占っていただきたいと思います。まあリベラルの方はですね、もうやる気満々でいろんな悪い工作も仕掛けてくると思いますし、バイデンに人気があると思いませんけれども、また本当いろんなことをやってくると思うんですけれども、そんな中で、2024年の大統領選はどのいうふうに展開されると分析されていますか？
Well, when it comes to the 2024 election, I think that Biden does have a strong vulnerability to both a challenge from the right and even a challenge from the left. I think that there are forces within the Democrat Party that view him as being sort of this establishment figure, this figure who doesn't stand for any of the principles that they believe with. This is not her specifically, but sort of the AOC part of the party who are not big fans of hers. And of course, the governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, is someone who it's been widely reported is considering a run for president. Bernie Sanders is someone who might run. And there's always been a number of people out there. Also because of his age and general health issues, there is a question as to whether or not he would be able. He's 80 years old now. And the fact is, so 2 more years, he'll be 82 when he's elected, which means he would serve until 86. This is far older than any president that America has ever had. And so there is a strong possibility that he simply just does not run, in which case I think Kamala Harris would probably receive his endorsement. Now, on the other side, there is a field emerging for the Republicans. Donald Trump is by far the leader, early front runner, of course. There's a question as to whether people like DeSantis or Pompeo, Mike Pence, might get into the race. Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador, is also involved. She's announced, and a few other people are talking about it. But I think really, and I just said this to a New York Post interview, that I don't see anybody who could defeat Trump in a Republican primary right now. I don't.
僕も、トランプがぶっちぎりだと思うんですが、じゃあ実際予備選勝った後の本選でですね、2年後占うのは難しいですけれども、共和党が勝つか民主党が勝つか、どんなふうに分析されてますか？
I think that due to the escalating conflicts now that we see in Ukraine and the very aggressive conduct of CCP when it comes to the Taiwan Island, Taiwan Strait situation, that in a case like this, with a potential global conflict with Russia and China involved. If this is the case, I think Trump is able to actually win because he's the only candidate that anywhere in the United States who has the ability to say that under his presidency, he did not start any new wars. He ended wars. He pulled troops home from many parts of the world. Even some things that he set into motion, like Afghanistan, were continued later on. And so I think with Biden, you get someone who seems to be much more of a escalation war footing, whereas with Trump, he has been willing to open that door to peace, to diplomacy, but also understanding the importance of national security and the economic element to national security, which is something that Biden seems to have forgotten. I think if the war in Ukraine continues and if Taiwan escalates, I think Trump would easily win the presidency.
とても素晴らしい分析で、私も全く同感なんですけれども、それをアメリカの有権者がどこまで理解しているか、つまり分かっているかなんですね。そのトランプの例えば戦争を起こさなかったという実績、それから外交交渉を上手にまとめるというその実力、こうしたものをメディアがほとんど報道しないという中で、それでもアメリカ人の有権者は健全に正しい判断ができる、トランプが勝つ方向に行くというふうに考えていいですか？
Access to information is the most important tool in any democracy. And so this is why the fight for free speech on the internet is of such importance, because you've seen from Silicon Valley, from the Biden administration in some cases, these agencies have worked to censor our ability to spread messages, whether it be myself, whether it be other independent journalists, whether it be organizations like CPAC and so many others that bring people together to present alternative points of view, to provide information through a different lens to people, to have meetings and hold networks. This is why organizations and summits like CPAC and the international CPACs are so important. They're actually critical because you're right. The media does not provide this information to the American people and to the people of the world to actually understand what is happening. And so we must continue independent media and must continue independent political networking and organizing, or else, you're right, it would be a complete failure.
ありがとうございます。CPAC の意義についてまで語っていただいて本当に嬉しく思うんですけれども、今、ジャックさんの口から、ウクライナのこととか中国のことが出ました。なので、ちょっとそれに関連して伺いたいと思います。まず、ウクライナなんですけれども、バイデン政権がもうウクライナへのまた継続支援を表明して、この間もバイデンとゼレンスキーがあったっていう本当ばっかりなんですけれども、実際この戦争の行方はどういうふうに落ち着くというふうに分析しておられますか
？What we're now seeing is with the escalation in Russia and Ukraine, that Russia and China together are being pushed into an alliance because of the actions of the United States, the actions of the administration to escalate against both of them at the same time, rather than pursuing a policy that would isolate them or perhaps pit one of them towards the other in a competition. Instead, the administration's policy has been to push them together to form an alliance whereby Russia is forced to work with China because they don't have any other economic or military partnerships, whereas China, of course, is more than willing to accept Russia's partnership because that gains them access to oil reserves, it gains them access to future markets, it gains them access to, and obviously gains them military parity with the country that has the largest nuclear arsenal on the world. So by doing this, I think it's a very foolish step from the administration, because when you understand global conflict, to have two of the greatest and most powerful nations in the world aligned against you together, then you are in a very strong very dangerous situation.
全く同じ考えです。本当にもうバイデンの失策のおかげで、もう日本はロシアと中国と、ついでに北朝鮮入れてですね、こう3つもう睨まれる非常に安全保障上危険な状況に置かれたわけです。
Well, North Korea is probably one of the greatest successes of the Trump administration when he was in office. There's actually a story as the great empire, the center of the world, the center of all commerce, diplomacy, military strategy.
仮に台湾に対して中国が軍事侵攻した場合、バイデン政権のアメリカはどういう対応すると思いますか？
I think that Biden would respond, but I do think there'd be a lot of people in America that because of their influence with CCP money, because of their influence with Chinese money, they would say,
we'll start doing it again. Our soldiers are very special. When a wonderful town in Ohio has difficulty, we are going to take care of that town.